Hello everybody. This video is focused on trying to assess and repair the set of Sansui audio gear, amplifier A5, stereo cassette D100, and T7 tuner. Currently, the cassette deck and the tuner are plugged in the back in the switched AC ports in the back of the amplifier, and the amplifier is plugged in the power supply. If you see, the amplifier is plugged in, but nothing happens. I mean, there is some power when you turn it on, but somehow it oscillates. And these two don't even power on. So there is some problem with the switching of power supply in the back. So I'm gonna turn it off and move the two plugs straight into the power bar. So I moved the cassette deck and the tuner into the power bar, and obviously now they have power. And I'm gonna turn on the amplifier. I mean, the tuner and the cassette deck are connected to the amplifier. There are just no speakers connected to it, but I can see the tuner because it's on the tuner connection. The light shines, the volume moves. So if I have this voltmeter plugged into the switched AC power in the back, and I can see the power oscillating from 0 to whatever. So definitely there's some problem with the switching of power supply. I have to look in the electrical diagram, so this isn't good. So I'm turning it back on. I pressed these buttons for the cassette deck, and this pause button unfortunately remained locked. So when I open the mechanism for service, I'm gonna see what's holding this button in place. I'm gonna take the door out so I can reach the cassette switches, because when I try to press play, I can hear the motor, but nothing happens. Nothing moves. I'm gonna try to press. So I pushed with my finger the two switches here that are for detection of a tape, and I pressed record, and I can see that preamplifier works. Unfortunately, for the view meters to be kind of at the same level, I had to adjust the balance. So one channel is out of whack. I don't know, the question is the view meters hasn't been used. I understood that the units have not been used in 10 years, so maybe it's the view, maybe it's the, the needle, there's a problem. Maybe it's the wire in the back. I have to use another wire. But for now, at least the preamplifier works. But if you hear the noise, it's clear that the belts are gone for this unit. So anyway, unfortunately, the cassette deck obviously needs the regular work. And it was recording. What you saw, the needle, is this input, because it has here a record selector source being on tuner. So source tuner, the cassette deck receives that. And you can monitor either the source or the tape. So right now it's on tuner. The volume works. So at least you get a station from the tuner. This is a very interesting tuner as far as I can see, even without volume. Let's say this is 98.1. It's not totally tuned. The volume the level oscillates, and when it's totally tuned, these two arrows should disappear. Let's go on probably 97.1. It says you should move leftwards. Again, the same problem. Let's go to 96.3. When it gets a station, it actually moves automatically. So now it's tuned, it says stereo, the level is the highest, but still the arrows haven't disappeared. I've seen it when the arrows disappear, but it's tuned. That's 91.1, I think, somewhere in there. That's 97.3. So if you see, if you're a little bit out of position, it moves on its own, so it's motorized. Let's see, 97.1, I think it is. I think it's this one. So maybe that's the right way to have both arrows. I'm gonna check the user manual, but it looks like this is working, except the krr, krr, krr. Maybe the mechanism needs a little bit of oiling, but volume works. Everything seems to be okay. So right now I'm gonna disconnect the connection between the amp out and the tuner in. Actually, it's funny, this one flickers again. I don't know if you see it, but there's definitely some flickering, so some problem with the power supply. Anyway, I'm gonna disconnect the record out from the amp into the tape in, and I'm gonna connect to the tape in, tape in, the one that's recording. I'm gonna connect another amplifier, so I'm gonna use the preamplifier through another amplifier, at least to make sure the amplifier kind of works before I connect any speakers. So what you hear right now is the output of the tuner from the preamplifier. This volume has no importance right now, unfortunately. I hope YouTube doesn't ding me with copyright or anything. So this works whether the amp is on or off. I'm afraid to connect speakers to this because I really don't know how it's gonna behave, but I can see the volume working. I may take a chance and put some speakers on it and let me see. I don't like this flickering. You don't actually see it, but it goes brighter and dimmer. Same thing here. Same thing on, what's this? Tape. It has phono, tape aux, tuner, and tape is selected through this as an override, and it does exactly the same thing, the flickering. Yeah, when it's on tape, it actually flickers badly. Well, it may work, but there's definitely a problem with the power supply, that's for sure. Anyway, we'll see. So I connected two speakers, left and right. Speaker on A. So what we're seeing, flickering. So volume exists. But the power supply is not clean. It's either that the tuner, probably you don't hear, but there's some extra noise. This thing. I can hear it on the right channel. I don't hear it on the left channel, so man, some part of the power supply somewhere for the tuner is bad. It may need some adjustment, but it's really nice, you know, if it's a little bit out, it moves on its own. This is a nice thing. I've never had a tuner like that. I mean, obviously the sound is bad. I'll have to figure out what's wrong with it, but anyway, certain things work.
Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. New videos will be posted every week. Choose to get notified, and I hope to see you soon.